All right, welcome one and all to Tears Don't Fall. This week's episode, a remote iteration, another remote iteration coming at you live at the time of recording from Melbourne, which is in lockdown. So, how you doing, dude?
I'm doing great, my dude. All things considered.
Yeah.
We're making hay with I guess, with a little globe, because the sun ain't shining, but we make do. Yep. So, it's been a crazy week.
Mm-hmm.
But my most constant thing has been the tempo, which has been set to about 240.
Yeah. During
Dragonforce,
it's been strange having such a bizarre and stressful few days, and the soundtrack being fucking like the whole time. I'm like, I just need a minute to think, guys.
Please.
God
it's
damn.
either that, or then you get the 20 BPM ballads in between.
Yeah, snooze ballads.
And you just get the whiplash.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's like the roller coaster breaks down halfway down the ramp. Oh, dear. Yeah, Heath, you want tempo? Look no further. Although I hope you're not lactose intolerant, because this shit is cheesy, my dude. We are, of course, talking about Dragonforce, the first Tears Don't Fall that has been voted for by you, the community, the people watching. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Truly.
So before we get into it, can you tell us a bit? Let's talk about our own histories with this band. You're wearing the shirt, dude.
Certainly.
You're wearing a shirt, and if we're being upfront about it, it's a very old shirt. It's a deep cut shirt.
It is.
Tell the people about your shirt.
It is. This is off their North American tour from 2007.
God
I picked
damn.
this one up online. I really liked the design. So they were. Let's talk about how I even got into heavy music in the first place, and got into guitar and learning metal to begin with. So both as a fan of heavy music and as a creator or musician. I got my first entry into metal through classic power metal, which was Halloween, Stratovarius, into more like turn of the millennium material like Ed Guy and Avantasia. And it wasn't long before I was shown Dragonforce's Sonic Firestorm album, which was their most recent at the time. And I instantly fell in love, went back to the Valley of the Damned, and was astounded at what I heard. These albums were a real driving force for me musically, which I'll get into as we tackle these albums. But so I have a very rich history with the humble beginnings of Dragonforce.
Cool.
And to the point where my first ever live gig, metal gig, was Dragonforce. May 15, 2007 was the night that changed my life.
Oh, wow.
Seeing my very first metal show, all ages. My very first pit. Caught the opening band, Vanishing Point.
Oh, my God.
I discovered that there is metal homegrown in my own town. There was a metal outfit in my city, and I had no idea. I'd listened to Black Majesty, I suppose, but I didn't think I didn't know what to think. And seeing that, witnessing that, I went, that's what I want to do with my life. This here, I've wanted my whole life to feel this. It's beautiful stuff. So,
fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I wanna have fire and burning in my life. That's awesome.
Nah,
dude. That's beautiful, dude. Rids points out a driving force, one word.
Yes.
Rids, ban yourself.
So seeing this show made me go, I want to be a pest. I want to be a leech on the underbelly of society. I want to be a musician, dude.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Metal music, no less. I want to start a band and reap the benefits of being a scourge. So, and here I am today.
Beautiful.
Shouting about Dragonforce in 2021 into the void, hoping anyone will hear my tale of woe. My warning.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. That's awesome. I love that.
my warning beacon in the dark.
Cool.
Don't do it, kids. Not even once.
And how how have you found going back to them? Do you go back to Dragonforce that often, or like them having such a pivotal role in shaping you as a text bird?
Don't. Yeah. I don't. And we'll discuss why.
Okay.
As we go through the albums.
All right, cool. I'm excited to hear that.
Yeah. Something that was quite confronting though, I haven't had this before whilst doing this review format in Tearstone Fall, is the separation of my, I guess, critical mind and the mystery of music when I was just starting to experience this world of music. I didn't understand how anything worked. It all seemed so magical. So ethereal. I didn't understand what I was, how to break down what I was listening to. I just loved it.
Yeah, cool.
And there was no real analysis. It was just like pure emotion and reaction, I suppose. Whereas now, if I listen to music, I'm breaking down. And I understand. I can instantly look under the hood and pull apart what makes it work. And that's That's like the fun of it for me now.
Yeah.
So, having such separate minds on these same tracks and going back after so long was a difficult thing to balance and get a sense of how I should approach this as well.
Okay, I'm interested to see how you did end up approaching it. I'm interested to hear whether or not the sausage still seems as magical now that you know how it was made. I guess
what I'm saying is I just don't know if my hindsight was 20/20 or if I'm wearing rose-tinted glasses.
Plug. I do a podcast where that's the premise. Michael, if you're in chat and you haven't tuned out after we started talking music, maybe post a link. Cool. Well, my experience with this band previous to this is it's much less magical and was much less pivotal. But I think I would have discovered them around the same time as you. Sonic Firestorm was the latest album they'd put out. The same friend who tried to get me into Muse got me onto Dragonforce because he was learning guitar and I mean, like, just for the sheer spectacle of guitar wizardry on display with these guys, he was like drawn to it, and showed me some of it. And I was really thrilled by it just because it was fast and intense, but also super melodic and so accessible. And I mean, shoot, I must have been 14, 15 at the time. So accessibility was a big plus in my books at that point. I hadn't started looking for heavier material. Harsh vocals at that point were, anathema. So I was really thrilled by this band, and then of course them coming out with Through the Fire and Flames and it being in Guitar Hero 3 and the Guitar Hero games being such a huge thing in our age group.
For that, I guess it was hard to grasp the scope of it all.
Yeah. Looking back, I'm like, fuck.
Penetrate into a mainstream was...
Yeah. And I seem to remember it...
Hard to quantify.
Yeah, I seem to remember it kind of... Maybe not backfiring for them, but them getting a bit of flack for it. I think they proclaim themselves as being like video game metal, and I feel like I remember some purists being a bit shitty with that term and with them classifying themselves as such. And I do remember a meme going around for a while that was like Dragonforce, more like Can't Play Live Force, and there was like a clip where they sounded really fucking dreadful at like a festival or something, and I bought into that for ages.
I sped up all of their parts.
Yes, because I was like, oh, what? Bullshit. And I was a fucking stupid kid, so I didn't bother doing my own research and was just like, yeah, fuck Dragonforce, man.
Well, it was hard to scour the net for...
Yeah, this was like relatively early days, comparatively speaking. And I kind of fell off with them for a little bit and ended up getting much more into them in the last... Give me a sec. Probably since like 2014. I found myself interested in them again with the new vocalist with Mark Hudson on vocals, and since have really rekindled my enthusiasm for them. So, yeah, going back through their discography has been a lot of fun, albeit a little bit fatiguing at times, which we'll get into. Yeah, shall we get into this?
Absolutely.
Alrighty. And chat, as always, we want to hear what your thoughts on these albums are as well. So please, as we're talking about them, chuck your thoughts in and we'll read them after we're done talking each other's ears off. So, you'll be taking the first 4 albums here because they're the ones that you're more familiar with. The ZP, Thart? Zippy?
Yeah. Oh my God, Connor.
What?
Don't do it. Don't.
Not doing anything, man.
I can feel it trying to squeak out betwixt my lips.
No, nothing. We'll get to the Zippy. All right, Zippy Dippy Doodah. First album.
Yes, Valley of the Damned.
There we go.
Now, where do we how do we start this? There are so many angles we could take. You mentioned earlier that Dragonforce were unmistakably, irrefutably cheesy. And I can't support that anymore. And I think there would be an excellent grading system for tonight. Let's grade them like cheeses, my dude.
What's the?
And this is a tough one because just as I was saying, that separation of knowing how the sausage is made and just loving snags for the flavor. It's a really tricky one to judge.
Yeah, sure.
I was absolutely terrified going back to that early material, and I did not know what to do with myself. In cheese factor, Valley of the Damned is an S, my dude, for sharp and shredded.
Ooh,
God damn,
okay.
does they shred? Holy shit!
Yeah, it does. Okay.
Yeah, it does. What can I say about this album? It is, in my opinion, the most important UK power metal release, period.
Wow.
Ever. Granted, that's not a massive pool of bands, but we are talking about a pretty large subset of countries with a big musical influence on the nation, on the world. To me, this is where it all begins. And still maintains every UK power metal release since anchors itself to this as a point of reference to some extent. I have such a connection to these songs. It still makes me really emotional just going back to the theme about them, and it's absolutely fucking incredible that I haven't lost that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's amazing, especially after not hitting them up for so long. Valley of the Damned, I think, is one of the greatest power metal tracks of the 2000s. It takes in the 2000s, power metal really, a lot of it headed towards a more mature direction. Whereas this just took it back to the classic. I feel like Valley of the Damned it doesn't look forward, it doesn't look back. It looks sideways, where it looks to an alternate future.
Okay.
Where we could have taken the material of Halloween and Stratovarius and the like, and Queen's Reich, and just doubled the tempo and maintained that classic element, that massive escapism, that really fun, lighthearted angle. And just driven it to the nth degree to its absolute endpoint. And this album absolutely excels in that department. It's not a perfect album. These songs are pretty long, and they will be for a little while to come. But tracks like Valley of the Damned run for 7 minutes and 12 seconds. Every second of that is absolutely amazing. Black Winter Night, 6.5 minutes. Incredible track. You could not lose a second from that without taking away from the song. I think same goes for Evening Star, and material like Disciples of Babylon and Revelations show variety where there isn't much else in the playlist, to be honest. But it's there and it presents itself. I love this album so much. It was one of the reasons I started playing guitar.
Oh,
Like with metal.
Yeah.
It's so good to go back to.
Fuck yeah, dude.
To go back to. This is before this album, I was playing Jimi Hendrix, AC/DC, Red Hot Chili Peppers on guitar. From here on out, all I wanted to do was to play as fast as Sam Topman and just get my right hand going. And I just sat down with this album and just galloped all night, every night for months. I can't take that away from myself. This album still holds up. Even if it is dated, I still think that this holds such a beautiful piece of history. And it's not trying to be timeless. It's paying homage to the past and in a way that few albums do.
Yeah. That's really sweet.
Uh-oh.
No. It's okay. I also rate this an S. I don't have a funny. I don't have a funny shtick for this one. S for shtickless.
What?
I rate this album really, really high, dude. I think this is the perfect Dragonforce album for this era, the Zippy era. I think they nail it out of the gate. It's awesome. I think it's paced really nicely. The songs are quite long, but I feel like they make really good use of every second of each song. And I think we get our first kind of snoozy ballad, but it comes in at a point where it's like, I could do with a snoozy ballad. I need a snoozy ballad to appreciate just how fast this fucking roller coaster was going. And Starfire suits that role quite well. And I think it does a really good job of indicating everything that's to come. They're gonna sing about fire, they're gonna say black, they're gonna say star, and they're gonna say those three words and maybe two or three more a lot for the rest of their career.
Fact, may I have the most commonly used words in Dragonforce's catalog as of their whole career up to 2016.
Oh, please give.
Not including the if we take the more obvious ones like so far away and fire and the like, each of them appears over 200 times each. But of the words that aren't in like the most common or the most like 1,000 most common used, words like forever appear 116 times in their catalog.
Holy shit.
Burning, 78. Rise, 79. 50 glories. It's pretty ridiculous.
I don't know how they do it. I really don't know how they allow themselves to do it. And I'm kind of jealous either of that inability, that lack of self-awareness on their part, or that ability to just fucking plow through it. It's
I think
admirable on some level.
Tottenham has this vice grip over the writing, especially throughout most of their career. And this surprised me. I didn't realize he was so instrumental to the band, and so crucial to the songwriting process for better or worse. For most of their career, I thought that Zippy and Herman had a larger part to play in the writing. That Topman holds about 80% of the writing credits on the lyrical front as well. Zippy gets about half of his songs he gets to have some say in. But Sam's just going fucking hog wild with the fires, my dude. With all of their forcisms.
Nice.
Nothing's about to change.
No, not at all. I think you mentioned that this has like a kind of it feels dated in some ways, and I think it absolutely does, but I think it's part of its charm. And like you said, I don't think they wanted to make something that would feel timeless. I think they were, I don't know. It feels dated, but like forward thinking in a way. Like they're paying homage to the bands that they love, but they're like, what if all of that, but really fucking fast? Like that's our unique sales point. That's what we do differently. We go fucking fast. And I think they do it. They do it with aplomb.
2003 release.
No, the production.
In some ways, this sounds even. I think it sounds even older than 2003.
I would say honestly, like it sounds like something from the 90s. Like it sounds like
it
Blind
does,
Guardian
absolutely.
album that somebody like railed a line of fucking something hideous and then re-recorded.
Like speed metal crossed with power metal in a Jason Becker sort of way.
But it's awesome fun. I think it holds up miraculously well. I really thought I didn't think I was going to rate this one as highly as I did. Coming back to it, I found it so charming and so fun. Even though there are songs on subsequent albums that I had a much stronger attachment to, I think this as an album is a much neater package than a lot of what's to follow. And I think it's just, I think ultimately it's the perfect Zippy album.
It sits in such a strange, in a strange place of how self-aware it is. Because they're clearly paying tribute, but also it's rather immature at the same time. It's hard to tell. It's hard to gauge if they know what they're doing is that cheesy.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think it matters either.
No, it's very. It's
like part of a dragon into When Dragons Rule. I was all up in Dragonlance novels at this point in time, which is basically third-party Lord of the Rings fanfic.
Cool. All right, shall we see what the chat thinks?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Riz said if Sonic made a band. Yeah, it's pretty much it. Got to go fast. Lucas says AC/DC keeps saying rock and roll for almost 50 years. One-track lyrics have proven to work. Yeah. Needs more video game noises, says Matt. We'll get there. There.
I think there are hardly any video game noises. There are
Where's
some.
the Pac-Man? Where's the
Evening Star? But they are so integrated into the songwriting that it's just there as a little experiment. It's not.
Beza says yes, all caps. I'm assuming that means he agrees with our picks.
That was when you hit the S comment.
Okay, awesome, great. Cheese God, finally aged cheese, absolutely. Lucas says I like the whammy pedal. Was there from the start. The ingredients were all there. Yeah, totally.
Absolutely.
Has the video game metal stuff in its infancy. Shall we move on?
Yeah. Okay. Right. Well, you were just talking about Sonic metal. Let's talk about Sonic Firestorm.
Yeah.
And you're talking about it being finally aged. Sonic Firestorm. This one is A for aged, my dude.
Hey.
This is aged Gouda, because this is the Gouda stuff. But it's really not from this time period either. This album feels somehow they've while amping up the intensity, it's made it a little less mature. Which is, I don't know. It's so hard to tell with these albums. Like, they're definitely immature, but the self-aware angle really throws me.
Yeah, especially the first two. I think it's really hard to tell. I think from here on out, it becomes a little more. You kind of get the impression that there's a bit of a wink and a nudge as they do this shit.
It might just be like, fuck yeah, dragons are fucking sick.
Yeah, totally.
To me, I was just talking about Plato's forms. To me, this is the definitive Dragonforce album. If Plato was still kicking it, Sonic Firestorm would be DF's perfect.
Sure. Okay.
I think this is when I think Dragonforce, this album comes to mind. This sound comes to mind.
Yeah.
What it does better than Valley of the Damned is it introduces more dominant blast beats, and this gives more tempo variance and it gives more urgency. Unfortunately, that means way less dynamic range and more stale songwriting format. We'll talk about that in a second. We'll talk about the video game inspired guitar licks just being a real minor presence. Here, they're a minor threat, but they still work with the song. They become a staple, but I think they serve the song. It's become a real signature of their sound at this point. And so it's okay. It's still okay. So about that circular songwriting on this one, this album is always going somewhere. It's always amping up, and goddamn, does this keep building and building and building. This album just keeps going to a bigger crescendo and keeps rising and rising and rising.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like we ever arrive at the destination that it's amping up for.
Song to song, or as in
every chorus, it's a platform to another chorus all the way through, my dude. I feel
yeah.
It's really it's a very aptly titled album. But it's so unrelenting that it I don't know if it's exhausting. I enjoy the ride, but it's like Herman Lee's hogtied me to a carousel.
Okay, I'm sorry. You're reading my mind. I have discussed this. I've discussed this with friends before, where I liken it to it's as though they strap you to a mattress that's on wheels at the top of a really fucking rickety, like Looney Tunes height ramp. And you're like, oh, I don't know about this. And Heavenly's like, no, it's fine. And then, like, kicks you down it. And you're like, and then just, like, you hit the ramp at the bottom. And it's fucking so far away. Like, just fucking through the fucking stratosphere. And then the next verse, you land on another ramp. You land at the top of another ramp. They just keep fucking swinging you tied to this rickety fucking mattress. You don't know whether to trust them. But goddamn if it's not exhilarating.
Yeah, for me it's a carousel thing, but dude, it's a fucking nice carousel. I don't want to get off. Every time
Mr. Lee's wild ride.
I'm like, oh good, what's the scenery like? What's the view like? Oh fuck, it's just going round again. Oh no, it's not stopping. It just like keeps speeding up faster and faster.
Yeah, sure.
You shake and you're like, amazing, I love that. We got the same vision for this one.
Yeah, totally.
All right, in that case, do we share the same vision on the placement?
We absolutely do, dude. It's uncanny.
What?
Yeah, man. I honestly, I wanted to place this at S, and I'm really, you said that when you think of Dragonforce, this is the album that comes to mind. Same here. I came back to this going, Valley of the Damned's going to be an A for me. Sonic Firestorm's going to be an S for sure. But listening to them as albums, despite the fact that My Spirit Will Go On, Fury of the Storm, Fields of Despair were the first 3 songs of theirs that I heard, and I really fell in love with them. The rest of the album, I think is a little forgetful. I think Soldiers of the Wasteland is fucking excellent, and Once in a Lifetime is a cool album closer, but the rest I think is kind of forgettable. Dawn Over a New World is another snoozy ballad. I like Starfire more. I don't know.
The hooks just aren't there.
No, and something that really fucking bugs me that I didn't notice until I was listening to it this time. Fury of the Storm is fucking tops, dude. The Prepare for War opens the exact same way.
Oh,
it's pretty much the same riff verbatim. It's really fucking annoying.
Yeah, right.
And that's where it starts to feel a little not lazy, but I think immature maybe, where they just, it's like you didn't connect the dots there, fellas?
Yeah. It's like you hit a ramp, but you see your skid marks from the last time you hit it.
Exactly.
Like, wait a minute.
That's it. Yeah. Fury of the Storm is S tier by itself, absolutely. And I really appreciate you mentioned like blast beats and stuff, the track we were just hearing, Fields of Despair. I fucking love that song. That's one of my favorite songs of theirs. Talk about video game metal. Back on like the old family laptop, we had Windows Movie Maker, and I made Gears of War like video game like AMVs.
You made an AMV?
I made a Gears of War AMV with footage downloaded from IGN with Fields of Despair as the soundtrack.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Dude,
and I'd put them on. I'd put them on my
MP4.
I'd put them on my MP4 player and watch them and be like, "Fuck yeah!" It was so fucking corny. Yes. But yeah, I love that song. I love the chorus. I think the eponymous despair is conveyed really, really nicely in that song. And I feel like from track 1, like My Spirit Will Go On, it starts off way darker sounding than anything on Valley of the Damned. Like Valley of the Damned,
yeah, definitely
has this kind of shiny. I mean, it feels like the album cover. It's bright and
they do a pretty good job of conveying what the album holds within their covers.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, totally. And so I really appreciate that aspect of this album. And again, I wanted to rate it higher. I just think the back half of this album is a little same.
Repetitive.
Doesn't less sticks out to me.
Yeah.
Less of it feels classic. Whereas Valley of the Damned, I think it feels classic all the way through.
What were you expecting? You know?
Well, again, with this album, I had such a...
It's not like you couldn't.
Yeah, I had such a nostalgia for this album that I wanted to rank it as an S, but I still think I still think it's a really fucking solid A. And there's songs on here that are S tier in and of themselves. So
yeah. When Dragonforce were one of my favorite bands, and they had 3 albums to their name, I listened to all these tracks so many times. I used to carry big weight in my iTunes library on how many plays each of these tracks had. It would be like my my Kavolt pass for power metal.
Nice.
It would be like my cred number, you know. And even then, I couldn't tell you what the song sounded like.
Yeah.
Because they're all so similar.
Yeah.
I mean, it's memed on. It's not unexpected.
Yeah, totally.
I think that's all we need to say about that one. Let's move on.
Totally. Hang on. I want to see what chat thinks, dude.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Rids says, in response to your comment earlier about Dragonlance, why the fuck have we never spoken about Dragonlance? Well, sounds like you're going to have to have a Dragonlance. You're going to have the Dragonlance talk with Rids. He says there's immature and there's fuck you, I'm not growing up. What would you say this is, Heath? Brian says, I want to go on the mattress ride at Dragonforce Land.
It smells funny in there.
Herman Lee's like, no, it doesn't. Rid says, Fury of the Storm is fucking S tier by itself. Absolutely. Beza says, Fury of the Storm is up there in my top 3. Fucking A. Lucas says, Fields of Despair is tops. Rid says, Heroes of Our Time, Fury of the Storm, and Cry Thunder / Fire and Flames are my top 3 of all of their tracks. Cool. Yeah, very interesting. Lucas also says, I made a top 10 tracks with a mate last year to compare. I'd love to see what your top 10 Dragonforce tracks are at some point. Well, if you're kind enough to chuck them in the Discord. We could have a look at them at the end. Dag says, Dragonforce and Linkin Park made a generation of film school dropouts with AMVs as their fuel. This was like... year 8 or 9, like fucking around on the family laptop, being like, I want to make music videos one day. And
actually, that was another way I got into power metal, was through AMVs for sure. Angra AMVs of Final Fantasy VII.
Wonderful. Rid says, fun fact, I had a playlist that I called Blizzard, which I mainly listened to while playing WoW back in the day, and a Roll Tournament. 95% it was Dragonforce. Nice. Heath says, this is well and truly fuck you for sure. Okay, cool. Thanks for clarifying. Appreciate that. Well, if this is fuck you, I won't grow up. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. What is the next album, Luke? Can't you hear your cheese analogy here?
Inhuman Rampage. You want my cheese analogy?
I want your cheese analogy, dude.
Rampage. Okay. Before we hit that, now I feel like there's so much weight carried on this album because many people count Fire and the Flames and maybe this album as the definitive Dragonforce, due to its sheer popularity and how much this did to get power metal in the mainstream around 2006 to 2007, thanks to Guitar Hero and everything in between. So I don't know how you guys are going to take this, but this album's a wet C for cream cheese spread because this album is fucking over-processed, dude.
Yeah.
And I'm not here for it. I'm not here for it. I wasn't expecting to rate this album so low. I thought this had S potential. And I went back through it, and holy shit, this has not aged well.
No.
Like, there's pain. If Valley is paying homage to your grandfather, then Sonic Firestorm is you going through growing pains. This is riding on a trend that fucking died so fast. This is the metal equivalent of dubstep to me. Like Hermit needs to fucking call it with the Pac-Man noises. Like it started as a neat signature gimmick, but it's just festered and grown into this fucking album-devouring shoggoth that has consumed any sort of songcraft that could be found here.
Yeah.
Like that proto-dubstep guitar work all over the place with these cheap synths, and it's not like all that cheesiness isn't charming. It's just really horribly dated, and it's not an enjoyable listen for me. Okay. I really hate saying that, because Operation Ground and Pound took up about a third of my iPod. As a kid, I took it with me everywhere. I had the video.
Nice.
I think it was Leclerc's first appearance. And I showed everyone I could. I'd be like, "Hi, my name's Luke. Check out Operation Ground and Pound."
Have you heard the good word?
Yeah.
The good word being fire.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, essentially. The lyrics haven't evolved with the music evolving, and it just feels so at odds. Like it feels where Heath was mentioning there's immature and this is fuck you, I'm not growing up. This is going back into immature territory for me. I don't think Through the Fire and Flames is any better than any other track on here. I think it's an overrated track, to be honest. I think Operation Ground and Pound and maybe Body Breakdown are the shiners on this album. Yeah, I understand why Through the Fire and Flames does what it does for a lot of people, but I could take it or leave it.
Yeah, okay.
I feel like it was right place, right time, more so than a great track. It feels like it gets lost in this album, honestly. Yeah, that's my part.
Okay, all right. I got something to bounce off your cheese analogy.
Oh.
Inhuman Rampage is D for damn, dude. You got cream cheese farts. Cream cheese fans, do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, dude. I
do.
I have a little bit of a chip on my shoulder about this album. I really wanted to like it. We talked about like being kind of in on the ground floor with this album and its popularity in Guitar Hero and whatnot, and it being kind of mimetic. And I so wanted to enjoy this album more than I could as a kid, and I thought maybe I was just like missing something.
They changed what it was.
Yeah, no, I thought I was missing something, but I don't think I was. I don't think there's much good on this album. There are a couple of cool moments on like Operation Ground and Pound has some cool moments. Body Breakdown also has some cool moments. I like the start of Revolution Death Squad. There are really cool little ideas occasionally throughout this album, but then they fall back into this really not lazy, because the sheer velocity they're playing at, I feel like it can't be described as lazy, at least not physically speaking.
It is huge,
but it feels immature in a way that I find really obnoxious. It falls into this obnoxious just intensity for the sake of intensity. No one can do it like us. We're Dragonforce. Like, it's really fucking in your face. And even the artwork, like the Sonic Firestorm and Valley of the Damned, have like maybe a sense of class about them. This is really
like grandeur.
This feels like, I'm trying to think of like an MTV, like what people must have thought of like MTV culture.
Oh my god!
Like old musicians seeing MTV and it being like, "Wow, yeah, coming at you." This is what that feels like to me. And I find it really, really unappealing. And I think I'm putting
the Dragonforce logo with Five Finger Death Punch.
You could absolutely with this artwork, yes. I think I have a little bit of not a vendetta. Just a bit of a chip on my shoulder again about this album because I've always felt like I should like it more than I do, and this is me going, no, fuck you, Inhuman Rampage, you shit. I think ultimately the thing that lets it down for me is just the fact that there are so few memorable moments on this album, or moments that make a song stand out as distinctive from one another, you know? Like I really like Through the Fire and Flames. I think you're probably right, it probably is overrated. I think it's hilarious as a meme, and having seen
it's a great bit.
Yeah, it's a fucking awesome bit, and I think it's also I think it's stupid and overblown, but I think it manages to deliver on what the album cover is trying to do. The rest feels like it. I don't know. I can't even finish a sentence about this record. I feel.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked that you feel. I'm shocked at all your rankings being so close to mine. Honestly, I thought these were going to be flipped.
Really?
Yeah, I thought you were going to flip these. I'm surprised. Really surprised. And I didn't think that I could possibly put this album at a C. You put it at a D. Fucking hell. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. And I feel like this album, I put it at a D also partially because I think it is a misstep career-wise. I think this is them jumping the shark.
Wow.
Like really quite badly. Right. Not landing the jump.
I feel like this,
and I think it throws their career kind of trajectory off. I think it's on the back of this that you get the
album makes Dragonforce
in some ways, but I think it also it makes them it kind of, I think it backfires on them, makes them a bit of a joke.
Yes.
More so than they were previously.
And
previously it felt previously it felt like we were laughing with them for the most part, and this feels like we're laughing at them. And I'm going to keep coming back to this analogy throughout this video.
Certainly.
Yeah. Chat, sure. I want to hear what y'all think of this album. Let's have a look. Yeah. He says, yep, this was my gateway album to Dragonforce. Oh no. Rid says, totally understand. I rate Fire and Flames that highly because it's a nostalgia song for me. Yeah, fair.
Yeah, like, and totally. This is a nostalgia album for me. But, I mean, the others were as well, and they still hold up.
Yeah. He says, first 3 tracks on this are the tits. Rest can get a little meh, but barrels out the gate. Tex says cheese and geese. Cream cheese fandom rise up, Brian. Yeah, absolutely. Lucas says, absolutely ready to admit Fire and Flames is highly influenced by nostalgia and memory, but for me it sometimes enhances the experience. I can't hear Through the Fire and Flames without grinning. I think it
that's fair.
Certainly has that song has a charm to it. The rest of the album is quite charmless. He says Revolution Death Squad is a banger of the banger of the album for me. Just swings its big dick around obnoxiously.
like you hate.
He says Toad's hugging you in my Inhuman Rampage shirt next time we meet. Yeah, all right,
this
awesome.
This is Inhuman Rampage tour as well, I believe.
He says pretty sure this album broke them bigger because of Fire and Flames. You're absolutely right. I think my comment about it being a misstep is more in regards to their perception, their brand perception, I guess. Which probably doesn't fucking matter that much.
It's the same with like Firestorm, but it's it's definitely the Inhuman Rampage tour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry.
Shall we move on to...
Yes.
Alrighty. Ultra Beatdown.
All right. Can we move on to the next one?
No. You have a cheese analogy to deliver, sir.
Yeah, no worries, because this album is a fucking craft single stuck to the undercarriage of the fridge.
Oh, no.
This is.
Where's that place
You're trying to pick it and it's been there so fucking long it won't get off anymore. It's just grubby. This album is a D for the dumpster fire still burns.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Brian says D for dick cheese. I want to see someone rate this S for smegma, dude. Flip it.
Oh, fuck.
No shame.
Oh, my God. Yeah, this album single-handedly killed all interest that I had in Dragonforce.
Wow.
I cannot believe it came to such a crashing halt after the lift I had from them and been so moved by their material. And hearing this as it came out in 2008. It was a big year for me musically, starting to get into heavier vocals and other bands, branching out into American music, American metal for the first time. And Ultra Beatdown was just a reminder to get the fuck out of power metal for me.
Wow.
Something I did not return to for a long time after. This is when I branched out. It was 2008, if I'm...
it was 2008. Yeah.
Shogun, Wrath.
All Hope Is Gone came out that year.
All these monumental thrash records and metalcore / the records, groove metal records. And I just went, this is the way, dude.
Yeah.
We don't have to listen to much of Ultra Beatdown to know that this is a fucking joke of the catalog. I fuck Ultra Beatdown. All my homies hate Ultra Beatdown, dude. I don't want to. It's just that I listened to this and I was like Andy with Woody. I just went, I don't want to play with you anymore. And there's Sam Topman. I think Sam and Zippy really fucked this album.
Wow.
Yeah. It's really unfortunate to see what Topman did with the early records. Whether he just maintained too much control and didn't let other members breathe and express or write. Take this away from me, Connor, please.
Okay. I was trying to think of a cheese pun for this, but the only cheese brand that starts with a C, I don't want to say on our stream.
No. Yes,
I rate this at a C. I thought this was going to be like Ultra Deep Down, because D and stuff, and I'm not great with words. But coming back to it, I honestly appreciate this album more than Inhuman Rampage.
Wow.
I feel like, and I feel like this sounds closer to a Sonic Firestorm than Inhuman Rampage. This feels like them trying to put the genie back in the bottle of like, oh no, we can write songs that aren't just intense and pummeling and memey. Like, this feels like them trying to reclaim maybe some credibility, but it's all too late. But I appreciate the effort that I perceive having been put into this album. I think Heroes of Our Time, is a really cool opener. I like The Fire Still Burns. Last Journey Home, I think, is a cool track, and it's slower paced. It's not a ballad, but it's something new for them. And I think it's something that they kind of end up expanding upon and doing better in future releases. And the Warrior Inside has this like goofy fucking steel drum bit at the start that I really like. It goes do 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 do, and fucking Sam Topman's like, come to the island with the coconuts, and he's dancing around. That's why I wore the shirt. It's been a long bit. It's been a long bit with very little payoff, but that's why I'm wearing the shirt.
Thank you.
For Warrior Inside.
Just take me back through the running time of this album and what it does and where it goes.
Yeah, so that's absolutely not doing it any favors. That's not a point in its favor. It's 8 songs and it's 58 minutes. The first first track is 7 minutes. The second track is 8 minutes. The third track is 6.5. Then we got nearly an 8-minute one, then an over 8-minute one, and then the snooziest ballad. The snooziest ballad. A Flame for Freedom.
Oh my god, A Flame for Freedom is
fucking stinky, dude.
Fucking dreadful.
Yeah, Flame for Freedom is really
horrible.
fucking shit. But again, I appreciate them trying to construct an album more than just bludgeon me with We Are Video Game Metal for an equal amount of time. How long does Inhuman Rampage go for? 55 minutes. Roughly the same amount of time. I feel like this takes me on a bit more of a journey. It's slightly more memorable for me, and I found myself appreciating it a bit more. I really thought that I was going to hate this record. I'm glad I did too.
I was shocked at
if
how
only so that our picks aren't fucking matching up so
right.
much.
Right. This
has amounted
I can't believe how
45 minutes of us like
matching.
jerking each other off over power metal.
Yeah.
God damn.
Hey, I'm here for it. Finally. Just wait till we get to Camelot. Woo.
Okay, chat, I want to see what y'all think of this album. He says B for blue cheese, but not B tier. Okay, well, we're going to need an actual answer there, Heath. You're really you're skirting around the question. Nothing worse than not being able to get off anymore. Adam, I'm not sure what that's in response to. Was that something about dick cheese? I don't know. Yuggy Dude says Beza. Rid says, I mean, I understand, but fuck you. Heroes of Our Time is their best song, IMO. I think it speaks volumes about this album that on their live DVD that they put out 2 albums into the Mark Hudson stuff, and the 2 times I've seen them live, they have not touched anything off this album. And I don't know if they do. If anyone is more up to speed with their live sets,
they touch Heroes of Our Time and the Fire Still Burns.
I feel as though they don't touch much, if anything, off this album live.
Fire, there's nothing.
No, there's absolutely nothing.
Dementia is because that's the album they were touring on.
Exactly. I saw them. I've seen them at a festival performance and doing their own thing, a headlining show, and they played Operation Ground and Pound over anything on this album. So let's have a look.
A lot about our society.
Yeah. Lucas says, I'm into The Last Journey Home, and the bonus track Strike of the Ninja is super fun. I haven't heard Strike of the Ninja, or you might have sent it to me, but I don't recall it.
So Strike of the Ninja is Sam Topman's side project. It's called, the band name's something like Shadow Warrior.
Okay.
And they've, over their catalogue, they grab songs off Sam Topman's side project and put them in as bonus tracks.
Okay.
Now that is just Black Winter Night. The chorus is almost identical to Black Winter Night, and the hook and even the post-chorus. It feels like he didn't do what he wanted on Black Winter Night, even though I think it's one of their best songs.
Mm-hmm.
So it just seems like a discount version of a great song to me.
Okay.
But it's still, a great song, so it's a different version of it. I'm not going to complain.
Tex says all hands abandoned genre. Anyone not on a lifeboat is getting left behind.
Yeah.
In response to your earlier comments. Cheddar fight me. It's not called that anymore. Oh, good. It's not Cheddar. Stinky. Yeah, same old stream, really. Dad can skirt if he wishes. All right, fair cop, Heath. Yeah. Luke said it was a craft single you couldn't get off the bottom of the fridge. That's what Adam was saying, Yuggy, in response to. Yeah. That hit close to home, Adam, I'm assuming. Those of you with children in the chat must know. Lucas also points out, just noticed that the Japanese bonus track is titled EPM, Extreme Power Metal. Mildly interesting. It is mildly interesting.
What? I think Extreme Power Metal suits this album.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that would have been a way better title. Just as a side thought.
You did listen to the rest of this discography, didn't you?
Wait, what do you mean? Dragonforce ended with Zippy, dude. Zippy left, and the band finished for me. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, fuck, what have I been listening to?
I don't know, what have you been listening to?
Well, in 2012, We got a copycat killer, dude, apparently. What? Someone's releasing music under Dragonforce, and Zippy's not there, dude.
What?
2012 saw the release of The Power Within with vocalist Mark Hudson on vocals from here on out, dude. Herman Lee described this as being some of the most fun they've ever had recording an album. Writing, jamming, and touring together. We've built this incredible energy. It's been captured in full on the new album. I agree with that sentiment. I think this feels like not quite a return to form, but them getting back into the groove of it and writing stuff that is just fun. Without this pretension of being video game metal or trying to go back to what Sonic Firestorm was doing or anything. It feels like taking cautious but important steps nonetheless back, like forward for their career. And I placed it at a B.
Okay.
I think as an album, it's got some kind of forgettable moments on it, some songs that don't really stick with me, but on the whole, I think it's mostly bangers, mostly B for bangers.
Yep.
Fallen World is really fucking cool. I like Cry Thunder. That's their first, or I guess second attempt at a song that is slower paced without being a ballad. I think Last Journey Home kind of had that slower kind of mid-tempo feel, but it was this 8-minute epic. This is a 5-minute track. And I think this marks a very fucking important shift in their songwriting. They learn some kind of restraint. They start to practice some form of restraint. The last album, the last album we talked fucking 7 minutes, 8 minutes, 7 minutes, 6.5 minutes, 8 minutes. For the first, 4 tracks. Here we've got a 5-minute track, a 4-minute track, a 5-minute track, a 4.5-minute track, then a longer track. Back to 5 minutes. It's paced really nicely. It kind of gets in and gets out and doesn't fucking waste too much of your time. Again, a couple of forgettable tracks here and there does not a D-tier album make. I think Give Me the Night is a fucking sick track and shows off Mark's pipes and ability to write these really uplifting, soulful choruses that rival what Zippy was putting out. I think he makes a pretty decent statement on his first album with Dragonforce. Seasons is really cool. I think overall I really appreciate the effort to write singles on this album. Cry Thunder and Seasons feel like singles, and they nail it. They really excel at writing kind of short form, catchy, almost pop song structured metal singles.
Yeah.
Really appreciate this as a release.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
To me, this album was mentioned earlier. I think Heath mentioned a blue vein or blue cheese. And I would apply it to this record. I was hesitant to digest it, but when I finally did, all those years later, it was actually surprisingly tasty. It's a B for blue vein.
Hey, all right, we're back on track. We're back on the same wavelength.
Way too similar, by the way.
I know.
How are we so similar? Me getting my start in this territory, and you as a groove nerd. I'm shocked. I was really, really scared to sink my teeth into this record, and I did not sink my teeth into any Mark Hudson material until this week. The next half of this catalog, of this discography, never listened to.
Holy shit!
I've had such a chip on my shoulder over Ultra Beatdown and Zippy leaving that the band honestly was dead to me when I heard tracks like Cry Thunder. Did not care for them. Mark Hudson, I find almost like a silent protagonist. He, to me, is so plain Jane, so vanilla. It's a vanilla Stilton, really. It feels...
is that another cheese?
Like yes, it's a cheese.
Fuck me dead, cunt. You made the Kraft Singles joke earlier. That's the extent of my knowledge of cheese. And I'm getting the home brand shit.
Yeah, he's like, to be for black and gold.
Yeah, that's it. Yes, for the special kind of cheese you get on your birthday,
like
Toasty.
Insert character.
Right, okay.
Where you can place yourself in his shoes.
Yeah, sure.
So, I don't know, he's just all stats set to 50, you know? And that doesn't do it for me after how much character Zippy had.
I think on this album, I think that's a kind of a fair assessment. I think he has some really standout performances for my tastes, at least on Give Me the Night and Die by the Sword and stuff like that. And Seasons, I really like his shtick on Seasons, but I don't think he gets doesn't really get too many opportunities to cut sick on his own on this one. It feels like maybe he's on a leash.
Yes. So as of, I believe, as of which album would have been Reaching into Infinity, which we'll get to. He had one writing credit to Dragonforce's discography. Yeah. One vocal writing credit, that is.
Yeah.
He is just, it feels like he's eternally the new guy. He's the Newstead in this case. Where he's just on a really tight leash, and Topman's and Leclerc are doing all the work here and trying to retain the IP and rebuild their brand and reinvent themselves. This feels like a phoenix from the ashes, which makes sense, but more so sonically than vocally even. They exercise so much restraint here, which is so welcome after Dolce Deep Down. And what I find most impressive is the soundcraft and the tones. They are absolute butter. Like this cheese melts in your mouth. It's remarkable how much of a sonic improvement this album has. And it's also the final album that they work independently on and release from their own studio. But they still make it leagues better than Ultra Beatdown in how cohesive everything is and how well everything gels. They clearly spent a lot of time trying to rediscover their sound, rebuild their rigs, and they definitely paid dividends. I can't give this any higher than a B because I don't feel like the album goes. I don't feel like it's I guess Dragonforce enough. That makes sense.
Yeah, I feel that it feels, again, that's why I say it feels like them tentatively stepping forward, stepping back into the limelight with a new vocalist. I may like it more with time, and I do want to give this album more spins. I definitely go back to this album again over Inhuman Rampage, which I never thought I would ever say. I think it doesn't quite reach the dizzying heights of Valley of the Damned or Sonic Firestorm, but I mean, there are worse Dragonforce albums.
It's very contained and measured, and they are very aware of what they're doing.
Yeah.
I guess a question I would have is, if I want to listen to something more measured, would I choose Dragonforce?
Okay. Well, that's where like standout tracks for me keep me coming back to it, because there are some songs on here that I'm not getting. Really Give me the night. So fucking nice. All right, let's have a look at chat. I want to see what they think of this record. Trying to figure out where we were up to. Die by the Sword fucking tune. He says, fuck yeah, dude. Beza says, I like Mark. Good album. Lucas says Zippy is the smoked burger cheese to Mark's unsmoked burger cheese. Holding It On is such a great opener. Still feels like Zippy era. Loves Seasons. He says Cry Thunder is good fun cheese. Yep, absolutely. This album's solid for sure. Lucas says, I'm looking forward to the next half of this knowing you've got fresh ears. Yeah, I'm really excited to hear what you think of the subsequent releases, because I've spent a lot more time with the new stuff than the old stuff, if I'm being honest, especially in recent years. I've always felt that Zippy had more character in his voice, and Mark was just hitting the notes very well. Zippy tells a story, Mark reads the story. That's a really nice way to put it, dude. Beza says, love a bit of Wensleydale Gromit.
I like that analogy.
Yeah. Sorry, Brian says Dragonforce put out the craft singles as a joke and Connor ate them up. Yeah. Fucking. I'm scurrying around under Tubman's fridge. He says he's a singer for hire. Lucas says, aside from Sam and Herman, Mark is currently the longest serving band member. Oh, wow. Last 3 albums feature a member recording the album and subsequently quitting before the tour. God damn, or leaving under other circumstances. Yeah, their recent lineup stuff has been strange.
Been really
all right. Shall we move on to the next album?
Please take it away.
Okay, so we get to 2014, 2 years between releases, and they put out Maximum Overload. This fucking artwork is ridiculous. I was like, what the fuck is this trying to communicate? I bought this album on release, or like close to release. I hadn't heard The Power Within. I hadn't listened to them since Ultra Beatdown. I bought this album because the artwork was so baffling to me. I thought, surely they're a joke at this point. Surely this is going to be just hilariously bad.
Yeah, pretentious.
Like, this is like Dragonforce is putting out a Big Brain album. Are you fucking kidding me? I bought this album specifically to fucking laugh at it.
Yeah.
But the fucking joke's on me, dude. This is S tier, bro. Oh! This album is fucking S tier. This is the best. This is the best that the Mark Hudson era has to offer so far, in my opinion.
Wow.
I fucking adore this album. I had so much fun. I still remember how giddy with excitement and sheer unadulterated joy I was hearing these songs for the first time.
Yeah.
And I feel
know what the story is on the cover?
No, honestly,
I listening to the album for the first time.
That's me, dude. That's me hearing this album for the first time, just being like, I was wrong. Dragonforce rule. The game, oh my god, it just comes out swinging. It's like they heard me talking shit. I pushed play and they were like, fuck you, cunt. The game is fucking awesome. Has Heafy doing some backup screams, which is very, very nice. Tomorrow's Kings is gorgeous. No More is awesome. Three Hammers is so fucking cool. That feels like they've taken the very shy steps into a kind of mid-tempo, like chuggy kind of track like Cry Thunder. And really delivered on it, really committed to it, and Dragonforceified it. Like this, where you said The Power Within doesn't feel as Dragonforce as their other albums, this feels like they're making good on every promise that they made on Power Within. Of like, this is where we're heading. Is this okay? Is this okay, guys? And we're like, yeah, that's fine. They're like, oh, okay, fucking. Oh, it's so cool. Symphony of the Night has this goofy fucking harpsichord intro. And is what do you call it? Castlevania inspired. It's so corny and stupid, but I love it.
That's where the Stradivarius influence comes back for me.
Yeah, totally.
God,
yeah. I honestly, there's not a track on this album that I don't like. I think The Sun Is Dead is a really nice reprieve from the intensity of those first 5 tracks. Defenders is really cool. Extraction Zone is corny as fuck because it's about online gaming. City of Gold has a really sweet, uplifting sense of finality to it, which I really like. And then the Ring of Fire cover, I could take it or leave it, but it's there and I don't mind it. Yeah, dude.
I think it's fucking hilarious. I saw there was a Ring of Fire listed on there, and I didn't realize it was the cover because they have fire in every fucking lyric line. And also in what world? But it's so self-aware and so tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah.
Did they see burn, burn, burn in the Ring of Fire?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that really caught me off guard.
This album is just so unapologetically them. And it feels great. I really, really adore this album. I had a lot of fun with it when it came out, and coming back to it, I thought it was going to have lost its appeal. Like that initial thrill of it was going to have worn off completely, and I wasn't going to get the same excitement out of it outside of a bit of nostalgia. But man, this album still makes my blood rush. And I have since formed, in the last half a week, formed a new relationship with this album, in that I showed it to Lizzie, my younger sister. I was like, hey, I got to listen to some like music for the stream next week. We're just hanging out in here, and I was like, I'm going to chuck a Dragonforce album on. Do you want to stick around and listen? She's like, oh yeah, sure. And we've listened to like Through the Fire and Flames in the car before, and she's like, this is fun. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah. I put this on, and she had the exact same like physical response that I did, of just like, wow, and was thrilled by it, and it like just made me so happy seeing her get that same sense of wonder and excitement out of this album.
Yeah.
As a 16-year-old fucking autistic kid that I did as a 20 however old I was, man, like it was really fucking nice. And since then we've chucked it on in the car and stuff, and it's really cool.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I don't know. I pretty much have just listed like all of the songs on this album and said that I like them, and listed some personal, like very personal to me reasons why I like this album.
Yeah.
But it's enough to shoot it up to S tier for me. I think the sense of self-awareness helps it a long way, and I think that restraint that they practiced on Power Within is reeled in even more into even greater effect on this album, because it's 49 minutes long.
Yeah,
that's
right, but not
that's with the bonus track.
Sonically though.
What's that? Sorry. No, and that's the thing. This it manages to. It feels like almost maybe what they were trying to do on Inhuman Rampage, of having it be this like just sheer, intense oral experience. But where on Inhuman Rampage they forgot the benefits of having like dynamics and a sense of pace. Here they remember that and use it to great effect. I think each song has a really distinct quality to it that means like I can always recall which song, how each song goes. Whereas with so many other albums here, especially like B tier and below, and even the back half of Sonic Firestorm, I see the title and I'm like, how the fuck does that one go? And I have to play through it and I go, that's how that goes.
Totally.
No, that's a cool song. Whereas here I'm like, holy shit, it's this one. It's just a joy, an utter fucking joy. What did you think of this album?
Well, I want to touch on that comparison, because I feel a similar comparison with Inhuman Rampage and this album as well. It's like someone listed all the elements of what it is to be tough to Dragonforce, and they drew a picture of Bluto on a napkin, and that was Inhuman Rampage. Like they drew a fucking like Popeye cartoon. They're like, it's this, right? They're like, yeah, man. Here, they drew fucking Mackie. This Maximum Overload is an A, my dude, for 64 slices of American cheese.
Oh, this fuck
has that American grit that they have never had before.
Yeah, and nice. It all
starts with Heafy, and what a fucking surprise that was.
Yeah.
I'm really new to this album, so I don't know where to put it, but it's high. I don't think it's going to transition into S territory for me, but it's really, really cool to. I think this feels right next to Sonic Firestorm. We'll see what happens, because I'm going to be spinning this album a lot.
Awesome.
Because they made some really, really awesome moves here that I never thought I would give a Hudson release an A. Ever. This band was dead to me. I was shocked. Shifting to Jens Bogren was a fucking brilliant move. You couldn't make a better pick for this sound, and that helps so much. That combined with Leclerc, their bassist, having more involvement, I think he has half the songwriting credits on this album. It does absolute wonders in their development and their songwriting. having somebody who doesn't come from a power metal background finally get a voice in what they're doing. And they get such a variety of influences. There's so much more flavor here. There's so much to sink your teeth into. They've got world-clalas people working on this album, and it's no longer the axe-slinging hour that it was. It's still there, but it's a part of the experience, not the experience.
Yes, absolutely. It feels like way more thought has been given to making the songs consistently interesting. Yeah. Like the songwriting has actually had some attention paid to it. Yeah.
This is something that I always worry about as the guitar-centric songwriter, is that I only write whilst holding the guitar. Therefore, all my parts are going to be revolved around guitar, and it's going to be very abundantly clear that we are a guitar exclusive band, like in terms of sonic direction. We're not going to be writing piano ballads with real depth anytime soon, or we're not going to be able to really execute drum or bass driven material with the same aplomb. Having Leclerc here, I feel like, drives this home so much, and it's a new Dragonforce. They're a new band. I would not know this was Dragonforce if not for Lee's lead work.
Wow.
Honestly, I wouldn't know.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's really fucking neat. The game rules. Ring of Fire is hilarious, but I'm here for it. It's funny in like we are laughing together, and it's the first time that we've laughed together. Totally. Since Sonic Firestorm. Yeah. And it's been what, 8 years? Yeah. 8 years since we've laughed together. Yeah. Yeah.
So this feels like maybe not maybe not quite a return to form, or like return to the form that they once had, but like a return to some kind of form that I enjoy, you know? Like,
it's a different form. They've evolved.
They're a different beast. It feels like Dragonforce for the modern era, and done really fucking well. And I think like it's just little things in each song. Like they'll play they'll find ways to differentiate the first verse and the second verse, and they'll chuck a bridge section in that breaks the song up. It's just really fucking.
And they'll do it.
All these little 1%ers.
Like a low pass filter on the drums to tie things together, instead of Herman fucking squealing inane garbage.
Yeah. And I feel like all of his lead stuff, like I often, especially on Inhuman Rampage and Ultra Beatdown, somewhat on Power Within, but here I find it way more distinctive. I can sing along to his parts on this album. I've never really had that with his previous albums, or with his playing on the previous albums. And that's a really welcome thing. It feels accessible and inviting to someone who's not like, I'm not a guitarist. I don't get anything out of his guitar wankery other than like, oh wow, I couldn't do that
either at this point. Yeah, it's a pretty dry gimmick.
Here it complements the songs themselves.
It has to. It has to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not Dragonforce. It's Dragonforce feat Herman Lee.
Yeah. Here it feels like man, whatever fun they were having on Power Within continued into this album and paid off dividends. Let's have a look at what chat thinks. Three Hammers is top tier for me, says Beza. Fucking A, dude. Holy shit.
I'm yet to get my head around Three Hammers, so I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah. The turnaround, like the 3 or so minute mark, like after the second chorus, so fucking tough. S tier Dragonforce, just another STD. S tier Dragonforce. Yes tier. Fucking A, dude. Lucas says, I remember during a fan chat back in the day, I think it was Mark saying he didn't like the game. So offended. Wow. How can you not like the game? It's sick. Adam says Connor's giving this album an S for Kleenex Super Soft. Absolutely. What else? Beza says 3 hammers in my personal top 3. Can't get enough of it, to be honest. Yeah, I totally agree.
Cool. Okay, well, I definitely hit that one up.
He says, thoughts they covered Slayer when I read Die by the Sword, but they come out with a fucking power metal anthem. Yeah, dude. Lucas also says, I remember when Dragonforce played Soundwave, you didn't want any set spoilers. The hype for the album and the show had peaked simultaneously, and that show was the right place at the right time. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Like saying, like we were in that crowd together, and I refused to know where that set was going to go because I was so excited. It was on the back of this album, and I was just so excited to hear it. And I mean, they played 3 hammers, and it was just fucking glorious, dude.
Sick.
Yeah. This album was about 50-50 with Sam. Cool. He says, I heard 3 hammers and never really gave this a spin. Not because it was bad. I think it was just elsewhere musically at the time. We'll have to go back over this more extensively. Absolutely recommend, dude. Definitely do that. Do yourself a favor. Vadim's work really shone on this album too, says Lucas. Brian says, a renaissance. Yes, it's a Dragonforce renaissance. And Gus says, epic. I agree. Ethan says, I was about to jump into their call, thinking, hey guys, what's going on, knowing full well they're recording. I need to not do that. Thanks, Ethan. Thanks for showing restraint, much like Dragonforce later in their career, to some extent.
They're very clever.
I nearly did the same thing as they were going live. Rids, you funny cat. Shall we move on to the next album?
Yes, please.
All right. Reaching into Infinity. Now, this came out in 2017. It's the band's first album to feature their new drummer and current drummer, if I'm not mistaken, G. Anzalone? Anzalone? I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
And the last to feature longtime keyboardist Vadim.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. This album has... You've talked about the In Waves syndrome previously.
Yes.
So when Trivium put out Shogun, like a career-defining album, and absolute S-tier GOAT, and then followed it up with In Waves, you can't help but compare it to that. It has to follow that and kind of to... Maybe not everyone, but some people's, the detriment of some people's enjoyment of it. I count myself as one of those people. This album has that for me. I really, really wanted to like this as much as Maximum Overload, but it feels like some of the ideas from Maximum Overload are here, but in a less memorable form, even right down to the fact that they've got Curse of Darkness, which is a sequel song in that it's another song inspired by Castlevania. Kind of in the same spot nearly on the album. And then songs like Midnight Madness and War and Land of Shattered Dreams ultimately kind of forgettable for me. Our Final Stand, the last track, kind of forgettable for me. I find a lot less to hook onto on this album. I still rate as an A though, because you've got The Edge of the World, which is their longest song to date. It's 11 minutes. I think it's very ambitious, and I think it pays off. I really fucking like that song. And hearing that song live, when they played that live, really sold me on it. And so I come back to this album with not as much regularity as I do Maximum Overload, and I don't enjoy it as thoroughly as Maximum Overload. But for that song, for Astral Empire, Judgment Day, Ashes of the Dawn, I think it's a really strong way to start an album. I feel kind of similarly about it to Sonic Firestorm, where I really like the first... the A side of this album, and then a couple of moments on the B side I really fucking rate enough to rate it as an A for me personally. I don't have that much else to say about it. It's kind of I wish I liked it more. I will say the Evil Dead death cover that they have on the special edition of this album fucking slaps, dude.
Now,
ridiculously cool.
I was very interested. I thought since it was a special edition, I won't touch it.
Yeah, sure. I would highly recommend checking it out. Really cool. Yeah.
The era of Dragonforce covers is well and truly in effect.
Yeah, totally. So, what are your thoughts?
I think you're being a bit humble about this one, Connor. I think it's cute that you thought Maximum Overload was better than Reaching Into Infinity
You
by
didn't.
Dude, because it's clearly the other way around.
You didn't.
This is killing it. This is Mark Hudson's finest work to date. I gotta say, this is on the council, but I do not grant it the rank of Valley. It's on the S council, my dude.
Wow.
It is up there. It is not
I can't believe
quite
that.
Valley tier, but I think it's the second best Dragonforce album I've heard.
Wow.
And they're both, keep in mind, this is very fresh to me as well.
Yeah.
The impression, the Mighty Mighty Boss tones that I got from Reaching Into Infinity was that it takes everything that was learned in Maximum Overload and lifts it up another notch. Leclerc is just hard carrying this band in the songwriting department. It's so neat, it's so clean, it's so open. Jens Bogren does it again, dude. It's so yummy. This is very touch and go for me, but it's just a gut feeling off a few spins. This feels like it encompasses their entire career. There are tracks that feel like they could that they homage back to Sonic Firestorm, tracks that homage back to Valley of the Damned, tracks that homage back to Overload. It just feels like a really nice blueprint of who Dragonforce are and could be, question mark. And I think if there was one Dragonforce album to recommend, this might be the one that covers their career the greatest.
Wow.
Don't hold me to that. I gotta spend some time romanticizing myself more with this release.
Yeah, sure.
But my feelings on it are strong enough that I'm willing to call this Hudson's greatest work.
Cool. Okay.
I don't feel like there are lulls in this. Don't feel like there are many lulls in Overload either. But this just really resonates with me, and I'm yet to find out why it gives me that emotional response.
Okay.
So
No. I'll be very, very keen to hear your thoughts further down the line on this album and on like the rest of the Hudson stuff. I do feel like maybe you're right in that this album is probably a better indication of them as a whole. Like I think that they couldn't have done as much as I wanted Maximum Overload to. You couldn't have done that without falling into the same traps that Inhuman Rampage do. I think like that intensity can't sustain itself. This feels like it.
Yeah.
The what? Sorry.
So the premises between these two albums, Maximum Overload is overloading the listener with all of these different facets of Dragonforce, who they never were, and these new flavors coming in to the bands. The idea is to reflect an information overload. Yeah,
and this kind of consolidates that with the stuff that came previous. You think?
Yeah, and it's about trying to overwhelm the listener.
Yeah.
And they do it neater than they have many times in the past, where they overwhelm, but in a far less mature sense.
Sure.
Reaching Into Infinity, on the contrast, is all about escapism. Where the cover of Overload is about, this information and being covered in all facets and being overwhelmed. Here, that's a wormhole to escapism. They're going back to the classic Dragonforce escapism that were on the first few albums that they've lost for so long. And it's about just using music as a passage. So nice.
That's a really lovely way of looking at it.
Yeah.
First Dragonforce album with a dragon on the front cover too. How good's that?
What power metal does best is escapism.
No, you're absolutely right.
Storytelling.
This
album does it.
Yeah,
it has the strongest and simplest narrative, and it works the best. That's all they needed to do all along. They've done escapism in such a mature fashion. You don't see that often. Not in power metal.
The power within was inside them all along.
Yeah.
Wait, no, there it is. It's at B.
Yeah, really.
But this one's up higher, so that's good. No, that's really that's beautiful, dude. I'm glad that you've gotten so much out of the Hudson era of Dragonforce. I really didn't think. I thought you were gonna just chastise me for the like maximum overload up top and rating reaching so highly. But I'm really glad that you've gotten something out of that stuff. Chat, I want to know your thoughts on this album, if you've got any. We got an Ethan cameo, we absolutely do. Let's have a look. In Waves, literally the game has Heafy credited. We were talking about that. We talked about that earlier. You got in late. Lucas says after these two albums, it hurts that much more that Vadim wasn't back on the next one.
And that Leclerc takes off after as well.
Yeah, it kind of sucked seeing them live on this album and not having Vadim up there, you know, with his keyboard and his guitar and all that. It felt like something a very key part of their shtick was missing. That was unintentional, especially after having seen them live with Vadim at Soundwave. It felt like something was missing. I think the Mark definitely gets to really cut sick on this album though, and even branching into like harsh vocals and stuff. Again on the 11-minute track. I was shocked that was him. I was like, oh, who'd they get in for this? Oh, is Leclerc who's doing this?
I really like that as well.
And then seeing them play it live, I was like, oh shit, no, Hudson's not fucking around. That's great.
He shows more character on this release than anywhere else in his catalog or his time with Dragonforce.
Lucas says, our final stand to me is a great closer, feels like a really warm blanket at the end of a journey. That's really lovely. The Edge
of the World is so fucking amazing. Oh my god.
I think I'm a little confused with the track listing, like having the Edge of the World and then our final stand.
I feel like Edge of the World is a closer.
Yeah, me too. Like by the time that's over, I'm like, oh, we've still got 5 minutes of Dragonforce left. Jesus Christ. I think it's 11 tracks and an hour long. I always tend to more on the side of like less is more, leave them wanting more. So I would probably cut a couple of these songs, or at least one. No, I'd cut a couple. Brian says War is amazing.
Doesn't really ring any bells, but I've only listened to this for a few days. So
I'm much more familiar with this album, and I can't tell you how Land of Shattered Dreams goes, or Midnight Madness. I would say cut.
Midnight Madness is killer.
Really? I don't recall it. I'm gonna have to give it more of a listen. I have the same thing with that as I do the back half of Sonic Firestorm. Silence is maybe my favorite Dragonforce ballad. I think that is one of the that's one of the better ones, and it has quite a bittersweet real world inspiration. I'll leave that for your Wikipedia fiends.
Yeah, that was pretty sad.
Curse of Darkness is one of my favorite DF tracks. Yeah, it's a great track. And it is a cool follow-up to what do you call it? Symphony of... forgotten the fucking name of the song. Symphony of the Night. Yeah. Yeah, I got nothing else to say about this album. Shall we move on?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so this brings us to the Vampire Riffs. That's it. Yes, the year 2019 saw the release of Extreme Power Metal, their first album to not feature Vadim on keys, and the last studio album to feature Frederick.
What a weird album to release without Vadim on keys.
This is begging for keys.
Right?
Yeah, it's a weird one. So I still haven't gotten my head around this album. I was hoping, especially with the artwork, I was like, this looks like it's going back into the kind of the more intense territory that Maximum Overload was occupying.
You like his artwork?
I did. until I heard the album and was underwhelmed by it. I placed it at a B.
Okay.
I would still sooner listen to it than Ultra Beatdown or Inhuman Rampage, but it leaves me wanting in quite a big way. It feels like at this point, it feels like maybe, again, listening to the album, I'm like, is this self-aware? I'm not sure anymore. It feels like maybe Maximum Overload, they were like, okay, like, here we go. Like, it's equivalent to, I said earlier, like, I think we made a reference to, like, laughing with them, laughing at them, that sort of thing. It feels like Maximum Overload was them. They were like the kind of nerdy power metal kid. They made a joke that actually landed in a big way, and people were like, fuck, that's really funny, dude.
Oh my God.
And then Reaching into Infinity is them kind of repeating the joke kind of ad nauseum, and you kind of go, okay, man, yeah, it was funny the first time. That was really funny the first time, in fact. Well done. And then this is them just nailing that joke into the, like, pushing it further and further into the crust of the earth to the point where we need to push Dragonforce into a locker.
Yes, thank you.
We need to push Dragonforce into a fucking locker and bang on it a few times. Just so that they don't pull a fucking extreme power metal. They get their shit together.
Yeah. For me, this is when I saw this cover, I fucking hated it. I hated it. I saw it and I was cringing so fucking hard.
Yeah.
We were done with Outrun leading into this in like 2019. Like, this is so dead. Like, Muse did the same thing, right?
Yeah. We talked about that.
Like, fuck's sake, dude. What are you doing? No. Like, this goes from, especially after hearing how classy the last few releases were, this is them. It feels like they want to be the butt of their own joke. Except they're not a joke anymore. Like, no one's laughing. People are laughing with them again, and they've gone, oh yeah, they were laughing at us, so let's lean into that. It's like they've rocked up to school, just saying, with a big "I fuck on the first date" and big glasses, like knowing full well that everyone knows they're a virgin, and be like, get it, guys? Like, it was like, fuck out of here. No.
Yeah.
Like, to me, Connor, this is very gratefully in the sea for Cheddar, because this is so built for broad appeal.
Yeah.
And this is like nearly Ultra Beatdown territory.
Yeah, sure.
But the songcraft does save it. Thankfully, the songs are there because the mood is a fucking train wreck.
Yeah.
If I wanted to listen to UK retro future power metal, I'd listen to Glory Hammer, cunt. I'm gonna listen to this. What's this? Ailstorm have done this. Don't be Ailstorm. You found your own niche again. Why are you making this a gag? Chris Bowes does this better than you ever will. Dragonforce, what are you doing? Idiots? Fucking hell.
Yeah, to the point where I feel like this lack of self-awareness is or like this uncertainty with their awareness.
It's an unease of whether they're in on this or not.
And I think it's exemplified in the Starship Troopers inspired track "Troopers of the Stars." You listen to the lyrics, and you read the title, and you're like, what? And then you hit play, and they have like a Roughnecks "Oorah" chant thing going into it, and then you listen to the lyrics, and I'm not sure they're aware that movie is a parody or is like satire. Like, it feels a little too genuine. I think there are, like you say, the songwriting is here, and there are some cool moments on this album. I like Strangers. I think Strangers is a lot of fun, although it doesn't sound very Dragonforce. It sounds like Dragonforce doing an 80s power ballad kind of thing. Heart Damn Religion's alright. I don't know. I want to like this album a lot more than I do. Because again, Maximum Overload felt like really vital and exciting again, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, Dragonforce are back!"
Like, they're back.
Reaching into Infinity left me wanting a little bit, but again, it for me, it's got Inflame Syndrome. This, has something else, man.
You know what this does have? They actually broke a Guinness World Record.
Really?
On this album. Yeah, they did. I was really surprised. They got the team in, and it was for the world's longest poo. It came in at 3 minutes and 25 seconds. I was really impressed. My shot will go on.
I was gonna say where the covers ending the last couple of albums, or at least as a bonus track on Reaching Infinity, felt kind of cool and like, oh fuck yeah, like again self-aware. Here the uncertainty of their awareness kind of makes it makes the My Heart Will Go On cover feel just cringy. And I was reading a review at the time, and someone mentioned the reviewer mentioned that the My Heart Will Go On cover feels really redundant, considering like you would search My Heart Will Go On metal on YouTube, and there's got to be like 30 other cunts have already done this better, or if not better, have already done it. Like, do something else. It feels really late to the party, and they weren't welcome at the party, and we gotta push them in a locker. I'm saying it.
It's fucking ridiculous. Like, if you're going to challenge Celine Dion, don't do it with fucking Vanilla Vincent over here. Jesus Christ! Like, it is such a dull vocal performance. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, he's just jumped into the Dion's pit and got in alive. He got fucking mauled, dude.
Mauled by Celine.
Look at her lips. Oh my god.
Oh dear.
It's a bit on her bones. Fucking hell. That's ridiculous, dude.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I really hope that whatever they come out with next is leagues better, because they're clearly capable of it. The Hudson era has produced like much better albums. I would rate The Power Within higher in personal preference to this. I couldn't rank this alongside Ultra Beatdown.
Yeah,
as
like
cringy
it's really...
and misguided as some of the things on this album feel to me, it doesn't feel disingenuous. It just feels genuinely like delusional.
Yeah, the
genuinely
music
out of touch
for the most part.
Yeah. Like, yeah, it's inoffensive.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shall we?
It's just so disappointing.
Yeah. Should we call it there? Should we ask chat what they think?
Please.
Yeah. Let's have a look. Lucas says bin metal. None of these tracks can stand with my favorites from any other albums except for the Celine Dion cover. Brian says, yeah, cringe cover. I'm not sure if you're referring to the cover of the album or the Celine Dion cover. There's another band, I can't remember who, that released an album with an identical cover in the same week, exact same design. Wow, really? I would love to see that.
I wonder, this sounds familiar.
This guy's a bug sympathizer. Fuck off back to Glendathu. That's it. Kind of glad I haven't heard this one by the sounds of it. Alrighty, kids, tunes after dad in effect. Alright, Heath, thanks so much for joining us, dude. We'll see you in the chat next week.
Alright.
Yeah, stinky album.
This ends up, you know what? This was looking like we were going to be matching piece for piece, but we only have 3 albums in the same position out of the 8.
Yeah. I feel like we had differing enough opinions here and there. I hope my placement of Ultra Beatdown doesn't impact our friendship at all.
Fucking hell, dude. It's so fucking bad. It's so fucking bad.
We're gonna have to listen to it together someday. I just want you to explain to me. All right, let's
you explain to me. You're the one that's doing the explaining.
No, I'm dumb, dude. I just hit riff go burr, and I go.
What riff?
Oh, all right, now you got me. All right, there we go. Poll is open. Let's see what chat thinks. Thanks so much for giving us this one as a first community poll. This was a lot of fun to get back into. Even the stuff that I didn't enjoy as much as I wish I had was at least fun to think on. Why do I not like this?
This was a real rocket ride for me. It was surprises all round.
Mm-hmm.
Every single album was a surprise except for Ultra Beatdown. So where where it sat, whether it lasted, whether it didn't, what was new, what was red and blue. It's wonderful.
Don't see poll.
Don't see poll?
Try refreshing the stream and see if it comes up for you, because it's definitely there. We've definitely got a few votes coming in already.
Yeah. And guys, thanks for sticking around.
Yeah, totally. Well. Really appreciate it.
Much appreciated. We managed to talk about Dragonforce for an hour and a half. Oops.
Yeah.
I was certain that we would not be able to do this for 90 minutes.
That's so funny. Yeah, you said to me yesterday, like, this will be a quick one. We'll wrap this up quickly. Nah. Can't help ourselves.
Yeah.
So thank you for tolerating it.
Yeah.
Michael must be just fuming, waiting for Resident Evil. When are they going to get to the Resident Evil factory? Put a fan cover of Karma Chameleon in Dragonforce style in Discord. They got Dragonforce bonus track cover recipe from Sam's Vault. Ooh, cool. All right, I'll have to check that out. Because it's a winning formula. It's a very tasty recipe. We'll definitely check that out.
Yeah. And chat, please. We'll send a tier list maker over your way, and please post your own picks.
Yeah, I'm keen to see like whose lists compare, like
reign supreme.
Who has like the polar opposite of our tier list. I want to see who put Ultra Beatdown above a B tier, man. They will be evicted from the server. That is a lie. Excuse me.
Yes, you did.
If you want to see it, yeah. I think that's become like the new meme, is just seeing, like, there used to be like, can you play Through the Fire and Flames, perfectly? Can you play it on Expert on Guitar Hero? It was about nailing that song, and now it's about playing that song as poorly as possible. I've seen so many Through the Fire and Flames videos where it's like playing the K-Mac one where he's like, he plays the solo without knowing it. He's just nodding as he does it. Good stuff. Nothing beats the K-Mac solo, absolutely. All right, that poll is almost up. Chat, let's see what we've got here.
Ooh,
ding, ding, ding. Oh my God, Luke, you won out.
Last second.
Holy shit.
Damn.
I thought I had that. God damn it.
Yeah, I thought you did as well. But here we are.
No, that's fair. No, that's fine. That's okay. That's all right. Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for voting. Now, it's my turn to pick what to subject you to.
Oh, it's been a while. It's been almost a month.
Really? Really. A few weeks. So, and a reminder, chat, every 5th episode will be a audience choice episode. So, start thinking on what you'd like to subject us to. Luke, on the back of all that shiny, cheerful power metal, I want to subject you to some dirty, grimy, stinky Iowa nu metal.
You're not.
Yes, I am. I want to subject you to Slipknot, dude.
Damn,
yeah, we're doing Slipknot.
Wild. I hadn't even thought of Slipknot. Wow, that's so
I hadn't thought of that until like the last week, and I was like, that would be an appropriate fuck you to power metal and Devi. Just dumb knuckle dragging faux arty nu metal.
Yeah,
it's gonna be.
Yeah, what's that? 6 albums in their catalog?
6 albums at this point. I'm pretty sure. Chat, am I wrong? No, that's 6 albums. 6 albums. Yeah. It helps because the 5th one is numbered 5. It helps the fan base keep track. We're not known for our ability to count. Yeah, there's how many people in that band? Yeah. Whenever I see them live, I'm like, stop moving! Right? Hey, yeah, true.
Are there 7 now? Yeah.
Are we counting Mate, Feed, Kill, Repeat as an album? Let's look that up right now, actually, because I wasn't going to. for sincerely, I don't want to. But if the gods at Wikipedia are real fucking funny, Wikipedia, I type Slipknot and it takes me to the Wikipedia article for the type of knot. God damn, it's got a little picture of the rope and everything. You bunch of cunts. All right, hang on.
That's gonna be you next week, Connor. After I'm done with Slipknot. After I'm done with Iowa, oh boy.
I can't wait. All right, no. Studio albums, debut studio albums debut studio album is the self-titled. We're not hitting Make, Feed, Kill, Repeat. Okay. So, thank fuck. So, chat.
Sure,
Keen to hear your thoughts. Wait, Brian's chucked this in. Is the first release. We're going studio albums.
Yeah.
Studio albums. You cheeky fucker. Really appreciate your viewership really as always. I think we'll have a lot of fun with this one. I think it'll be one that, I mean, shit, everyone's heard of Slipknot. Everyone's got an opinion on them in one way or another. So I think it'll be a good one to hang out with chat for.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, get those Dragonforce tier lists in, and we'll see you this time next week. Same bad time, same bad channel.
Later.
Till then, stay tuned.
Build it.